Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So I just got back from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and I am not super happy. Now, why was I there? Well, I was there to essentially beg to be able to practice my Second Amendment rights. You know, the same Second Amendment that the Supreme Court said shouldn't be treated like a second-class right. And I agree, it shouldn't be treated like a second-class right. And I don't think it is treated like a second-class right. I think it's treated like a privilege, not like a right at all. Because I don't remember ever having to go down to the local police station with a binder like this that has a bunch of paperwork in it with a bunch of signatures and, a bunch of my own personal identifying information and a release so that I can have my background checked by the FBI just to have free speech. Or practice my right to remain silent, or not have my stuff searched, without due process or just cause. I don't remember having to do that for any of my other rights. But for some reason, the Second Amendment is treated like a privilege by our federal and local governments. Now, I'm back home, and guess what? I didn't even get to go through the process. I'm back home without completing anything. I didn't even make it past the first window. So let's go ahead and talk about what happened today and why this is so unconstitutional and why we need national constitutional carry way over national reciprocity, but we need national constitutional carry today. Okay, so let's go and talk about what's going on here. Now, try and keep in mind that as a father of three with a wife that works full-time, it's very difficult to get even an extra minute in your life, let alone a day where you can go down and handle something like this. This is a big burden for a lot of people, including myself. Not to mention, once you get down there, it's going to cost you a bunch of money. This is a renewal for me, so it's going to be a little bit less, but not all that much less. So you got to go down there and you got to pay a bunch of fees. And then because I was late renewing my permit, I got to pay a penalty, right? This is a penalty fee to be able to practice my Second Amendment rights. Then you got to pay another fee so that you can be fingerprinted. You got to wait in a room with a bunch of other people that are sitting there waiting for a bunch of other things to happen. But you got to go down there. You got to spend your whole day. You got to spend a whole bunch of money. And then at the end of the day, once you're done filling everything out and you've done your fingerprints and you've allowed the government to peer into your life at every corner, now you're going to have to wait 120 days. You got to wait 4 months in the state of Nevada. And I understand that people in California are going to be like, that's nothing compared to the 1 or 2 year waits that you have to wait for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. But hopefully that gets fixed too. But here, 120 days you have to wait before you can practice your Second Amendment rights. 120 days, 4 months. So I go down there and I walk up to the window and the guy over takes a look at my paperwork, right? You got to do your training. You got to go to a class. Even for renewals, you have to go to a class. It's half the amount of time and stuff, but you got to do all your paperwork. You got to go to the class. You got to take that time away. You got to pay for the class. You get down there. So I go down there with all my information. I think I'm ready to go, right? Good to go, all set. Everything's ready. Hand all the paperwork over. Looks through the paperwork as, like I'm the bad guy and he's doing me a favor, okay? Like he was doing me a favor. So anyway, he looks through my paperwork and he hands my paperwork back and he says it's wrong. You need to go back and have it fixed. And I'm like, what's wrong? You know what's wrong with it? I forgot, or the instructor, one of us, forgot to put my name at the top of one of the pages. So I asked the guy, can I put my name on the top of the page now and we can just go ahead and get on with it? Everything else is there. Everything else is signed. Everything is completed. I have taken my day off to be able to be down here today to do this. And his answer was no. It's supposed to be completed before you get down here. Well, he's the only one working the window, so it's not like I can go outside, fill it in, and then come back in. I was sent home before even being able to begin the process because my name wasn't at the top of one page. So my Second Amendment rights now are going to be delayed even further because I didn't have the name at the top of that one single page on page 7 if you guys live in the state of Nevada. So because I didn't have that, that was it. They went ahead, they denied me. I wasn't allowed to go through the rest of the process, wasn't allowed to do my paperwork, wasn't allowed to pay my fees, anything else, and that was that. And the guy said, hey, you can still try and process it if you want, but they're going to deny it, and it'll essentially just be a donation to the LVMPD. And I'm like, obviously no. So now I got to go back. I have to have the paperwork corrected. I have to go back down there another day to try and have everything resolved. And then after I get that done, when I can find some more time to actually get down there and do this, it's going to be another 120 days after that, because the 120 days doesn't actually start until you're done with the entire process. And again, this is why, this This highlights why we need national constitutional carry. National reciprocity would be nice because right now, in order for me to be able to carry across most of the country with my Nevada permit, I have to get other supplemental permits. I have to go get a Utah non-resident permit and a Florida non-resident permit. And that allows me reciprocity with other states so I can travel through most of the country. Still can't go into California with it. Still can't go into New York with it or several other states. But at least it opens up a bunch of, the rest of the country. So I got to have 3 permits to be able to travel in my country. So yes, national reciprocity would be nice, but national constitutional carry needs to pass. And this right here is the reason why. Because people are being denied their Second Amendment rights, not a second-class right, over dumb little clerical errors. And it's still not even a right at that point. When I go in there and I fill everything out and I get my permit, it says it on there. It's a permit. They're permitting me to do something. It has to first be approved by the state before I can do it. So how is that even a right at all at that point? It's not. It's not. It's not a right. It's a privilege. It's a privilege that's granted by the state or by the federal government or whatever, and it's a right that can essentially be revoked, or a privilege that can be revoked at any time by the state. So here's a problem that I see too. So we have national reciprocity, right? That's been introduced in Congress. That seems to be making its way through the process. Slowly, but it's still making its way through. National constitutional carry was introduced, and it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. We don't really have that much in the way of an update about national constitutional carry. So it's just kind of sitting there. National reciprocity is, kind of doing its thing, and we'll see what happens. But national constitutional carry is being treated like, whoa, that's some type of extreme thing, when it's really not. All it does is simply remove the barriers and the restrictions and the permits to allow people to practice a right that they should be able to practice without having to go through the government as a privilege. But that's what happened to me today. I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to get down there and do this, and again, I got to be able to save that money as well because it's not cheap. It's not cheap to be able to do this. And when you have 3 kids and when you have, everything else that you have in your life, and groceries cost you $1,200, $1,300 a month, spending extra money on stuff like this is difficult. And people shouldn't have to do that. I always think about people that are less fortunate than me. Even though I'm not rich, there's people that are way worse off than I am. And those people having to spend this extra money to be able to practice their rights is absurd to me. Absolutely absurd. So here I am. I'm at home, still have my paperwork that apparently I need to get fixed before I have to go and make my way back down there again to go through the entire process and beg the state of Nevada to be able to, carry, to defend myself the way that it should be, which the Constitution allows. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. It was a little bit of a rant, a little bit of a vent, and at the same time, a little bit of a push for constitutional carry. Maybe you guys can, call your legislator. Call your federal legislator and let them know, hey, I support this. I want to see this go through. Let's make this happen because it needs to happen, or else this type of thing will continue to happen. Thank you all again very much. I appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please click that subscribe button. The like button is always appreciated. I'm a little bit heated. That alarm bell will let you know when new videos come out, and you guys have a good one.